What if your childhood was shattered by the one who was supposed to protect you? What if you were sexually abused over 200 times, yet still called to heal nations? This isn't the story of a flawless hero. This is a story of trauma, rebellion, devastation, and redemption by the grace of God. This is the story of Joyce Meyer, a woman who rose from the ashes of pain to become one of the most recognized voices of hope in our generation. Joyce Pauline Hutchison was born June 4, 1943, in St. Louis, Missouri. Her father had just returned from World War II. But instead of coming home a hero, he came back broken, angry, and dangerous. When Joyce was just a child, her father began sexually abusing her. In her own words, "He raped me at least 200 times. It wasn't always violent, but it was manipulation, threats, emotional blackmail. He owned my silence. Her mother knew, but she chose silence. Joyce was left alone, betrayed by the two people who should have protected her most. By her teenage years, Joyce lived with layers of trauma buried under fake smiles and suppressed screams. She didn't know how to trust people. She couldn't build normal friendships. She didn't even like herself. She had accepted Jesus at age 9, but didn't truly believe that God loved her. "I thought there was something wrong with me," she said. "Why else would my father choose to hurt me?" Behind the mask was a shattered soul desperately longing for freedom. At 18, Joyce left home, but escape didn't mean freedom. She rushed into a marriage with a man who was unfaithful, dishonest, and far from God. The relationship ended in divorce after 5 years, leaving Joyce a single mum with a little boy named David, and a heart still searching for worth. She tried to fill the void, going to bars, staying in toxic relationships, drowning herself in noise. But none of it healed the ache. In 1976, while sitting in her car at a red light, something happened. She didn't hear an audible voice, but the presence of God flooded her car and her heart. In that moment, Joyce knew, it's time to stop running. That day, she surrendered everything, her past, her pain, her shame, to Jesus. And everything began to change. Not long after, Joyce was washing her mother's car when a man pulled up and asked jokingly, "Want to wash mine too?" She declined. But that man, Dave Meyer, was not easily discouraged. He was funny, grounded, and full of patience. A Vietnam veteran with a quiet strength. On their 5th date, Dave said, "I want to marry you." Joyce broke down in tears and confessed everything. "I've been abused. I've been divorced. I'm broken." And Dave answered with the words that changed her life, "I'm not going anywhere." They married in January 1967, and Dave would become not only her husband, but her fiercest supporter in ministry. Joyce began teaching Bible study to a small group of women in her home. Her message was raw, bold, and honest. She spoke openly about pain, anger, and healing. People listened, and they came back. Then more came, then even more. With Dave as the backbone of logistics, handling finances, schedules, and operations, Joyce focused on preaching, writing, and discipling. They founded Life in the Word, started taping radio programs in their closet, and traveled across the country, sometimes sleeping in vans because they couldn't afford hotels. Over time, her ministry exploded. The Enjoying Everyday Life TV show reached over 100 countries. Her books, over 100 titles, sold by the millions. In 2008, more than 1.2 million people attended her crusade in India. About 400,000 people gave their lives to Christ in that event alone. Through Hand of Hope, their ministry supports orphans, feeds children, builds wells, rescues victims of trafficking, and cares for prisoners worldwide. And it all began in a broken girl's heart who chose to believe God. As her influence grew, so did public scrutiny. Critics attacked her use of private jets, ministry headquarters, and salaries. Joyce listened, and she responded. She reduced her income, implemented financial accountability, and joined Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability. Ministry must not just be powerful, she said. It must be accountable. Today, Joyce is in her 80s, but she continues to preach, write, and pour her heart into millions of listeners around the world. Her message remains the same. Your past may explain you, but it doesn't define you. She is living proof that God doesn't just use the strong. He uses the broken, the abandoned, the ones the world tried to bury. If your story is messy, don't give up. You're not beyond repair. The same God who rewrote mine can rewrite yours.